How did you turn your father-in-law's words, "You'll never be real family without giving me a grandson," into the very thing he regrets most? When I first met Harold at Daniel's family barbecue, he shook my hand and said, "Hope you're good at making boys." "The Brennan name needs to continue." I thought he was joking. Daniel's nervous laugh told me otherwise. At our wedding reception, Harold gave a toast that made half the room uncomfortable. "To Daniel and Sarah, may they be blessed with many sons to carry forward our legacy." He raised his champagne glass while staring directly at my stomach. The sooner the better. My sister-in-law, Patricia, leaned over and whispered, "He made my life hell until I had Tyler. Just ignore him." But ignoring Harold was like ignoring a foghorn in your living room. When our first daughter Lily was born, Harold walked into the hospital room, looked at the pink balloons, and said, "Well, practice makes perfect." He didn't hold her. Not once during that visit. 2 years later, when Rose arrived, he didn't even come to the hospital. He sent a text to Daniel. "Let me know when you have real news." I screenshot that text, saved it in a folder labeled Evidence. The breaking point came at Lily's 7th birthday party. Harold showed up 45 minutes late with a gift, a baseball glove for a child who'd never shown interest in sports. "For when you finally have a boy," he explained loudly in front of 20 other parents and kids. "Someone needs to use it." Lily asked me later that night Grandpa Harold didn't like her. I couldn't find an answer that wouldn't involve words I didn't want my 7-year-old learning yet. For months after that, Harold escalated. He'd introduced Daniel as my son, who hasn't given me an heir yet. He'd tell that I was still trying to do my job as a wife. Once at Easter dinner, he actually said the words, "2 daughters is basically failure in my book." Rose, 5 years old and sharp as a blade, responded, "Then your book is stupid." The room went quiet. Harold's face turned to the color of the ham on his plate. "Daniel, control your child." "She's right, though," Daniel finally said, setting down his fork. "Your book is stupid." That's when I knew we were ready for phase 2 of my plan. See, I'd been documenting everything. Every insult, every dismissed birthday, every time he referred to my girls as not enough, or practice runs, 7 years of casual cruelty, all saved in my phone. At Thanksgiving, Harold started his usual routine. He was 3 drinks in, telling his brother about how Sarah still hasn't figured out how to give me a grandson. That's when I stood up, clinked my knife against my glass, and smiled. "Actually, Harold, you're absolutely right. You deserve a grandson." The entire table turned to stare. Harold's eyes lit up like Christmas had come early. In fact, I continued pulling out my phone. Daniel's cousin Marcus and his husband just adopted a beautiful baby boy. "So, congratulations, Harold. You finally have a grandson in the family." The silence was delicious. Harold's mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. That doesn't count. Doesn't count. I tilted my head innocently. But it's a boy with Brennan last name. Actually, since Marcus legally changed his husband's name after the wedding. "Isn't that what you wanted? You know what I meant?" Harold sputtered. "Oh, I know exactly what you meant," I said, scrolling through my phone. "Like when you told the neighbors that I was defective, or when you said my daughters were consolation prizes, or my personal favorite when you told your golf buddies that Daniel should trade me in for a woman who could do the job right."